Have you ever stopped to think about how the words you use every day shape your life? You may not realize it, but some of the things you say, without even thinking, could be making you feel less capable, less confident, and even less valuable. Words have incredible power, and as we age, the way we speak about ourselves can either uplift us or quietly diminish our sense of worth. The truth is, certain words reinforce limiting beliefs, keeping you stuck in old patterns that no longer serve you. They can influence how others see you, but more importantly, they affect how you see yourself. If you've ever felt unheard, overlooked, or like your best years are behind you, the way you speak could be playing a bigger role than you think. That's why today, I'm revealing 12 words you should stop saying if you're a woman over 70. These words may seem harmless, but they can slowly chip away at your confidence and happiness. And trust me, the last one on this list is something you probably say every day, without realizing how much it's holding you back. 1. Just. There's one small word that may seem harmless, but can quietly undermine your confidence and authority. Just. It's sneaky because it sounds polite and unassuming, but in reality, it diminishes the strength of your words and makes you appear hesitant. Think about how often you say things like, "I just wanted to check in," or "I just wanted to say." It seems like a minor detail, but that one little word turns a strong statement into something timid and apologetic. It subtly suggests that you are asking permission to speak rather than owning your voice. For example, if you're offering advice and say, "I just think maybe you should," it weakens your message, as if you're unsure about your own wisdom. But here's the truth: your wisdom, experience, and voice matter. You have lived through wars, economic shifts, cultural revolutions. You have raised families, built careers, and navigated life's storms. You have earned the right to speak with clarity and conviction. So, what can you say instead? Simply remove just. Instead of, "I just wanted to check in," say, "I wanted to check in." Instead of, "I just wanted to say," "Here's what I believe." These small changes make a huge difference in how your words are received. At first, this shift may feel bold, even uncomfortable, but over time, you'll feel more empowered. And you'll notice something else. People will start listening to you more attentively. When you eliminate just, you reclaim your authority, your confidence, and your rightful presence in every conversation. Try it and see how the world responds. 2. Old. How often do you hear yourself or other women say, "I'm too old for that," or, "Well, at my age"? It may seem like a harmless way to acknowledge the passing years, but calling yourself old can be limiting in ways you may not even realize. Let's be clear, there is nothing wrong with embracing your age. In fact, every year you've lived is an achievement, filled with wisdom, resilience, and experience. But the problem comes when old becomes a label that defines you, instead of just a number that reflects your time on this planet. Think about it. Every time you say, "I'm too old to try something new," or "I'm just an old woman," you are reinforcing the idea that your age determines what you can or cannot do. But let me remind you, it doesn't. You are not just your age. You are your experiences, your stories, your lessons, and your accomplishments. Yes, your body may move differently than it used to, and your memory might have its quirks, but age is only one small part of the incredible person you are. Instead of saying, "I'm old," try shifting your words to reflect the strength and experience you've gained. Instead of, "I'm too old to care," say, "I've lived enough to know what truly matters." Instead of, "I'm just old now," say, "I am experienced, wise, and still evolving." Language matters, not just in how others perceive you, but in how you perceive yourself. The way you talk about yourself shapes your mindset, your confidence, and even your opportunities. So own your age, but don't let it define or limit you, because you are not just old, you are timeless. 3. Sorry. Let's get one thing straight. Apologizing when you've truly done something wrong is a sign of strength, not weakness. But if you're like most women, the word sorry has probably slipped into your daily vocabulary in places where it doesn't belong. Think about how often you say, "Sorry to bother you, but..." "I'm sorry, but can I say something?" "Zrania," or "Sorry, I don't know how to do this." At first glance, these phrases seem harmless, but what's really happening when you over-apologize? You are subtly asking for permission to exist, to speak, or to take up space. Over time, this habit chips away at your confidence and sends the message that your thoughts, needs, or presence are an inconvenience. The truth is, unnecessary apologies diminish your authority and invite others to undervalue you. Instead of instinctively saying, "Sorry," flip the script. If you arrive a few minutes late, instead of saying, "Sorry, I'm late," say, "Thank you for waiting." This small shift in language focuses on gratitude rather than guilt. Or, if you need to interject in a conversation, swap "sorry to interrupt" with "I'd like to add something." Notice the difference? It's subtle, but it places your words in a position of confidence rather than hesitation. And if you don't know something, there's no need to apologize. Instead of saying, "Sorry, I don't know," try, "That's interesting, I'd love to learn more." Suddenly, you're not admitting weakness, you're embracing curiosity and growth. Breaking the habit of over-apologizing isn't easy, but it's worth it. Each time you catch yourself and reframe the moment, you are reclaiming confidence and teaching others to respect your voice. More importantly, you are setting an example for the women around you, showing them that speaking with strength doesn't require regret. 4. Can't. How many times have you told yourself, "I can't," without even questioning whether it's really true? I can't learn new technology. I can't travel like I used to. I can't try something new at my age. It's easy to say, but every time you do, you're reinforcing a belief that limits your potential. The truth is, more often than not, can't isn't about ability, it's about mindset. Aging comes with changes, and some things may be more difficult than before. But too often, can't means you've given up before even trying. Think about how many women over 70 resist learning new technology. They assume they can't figure out smartphones or video calls. But imagine the joy of effortlessly video chatting with your grandkids, exploring new interests online, or simply using a phone without frustration. The problem isn't that they can't do it, it's that they've convinced themselves they can't. Instead of saying "I can't," shift your words and open up new possibilities. Try saying, "This is new to me, but I'm willing to learn. I haven't done this yet, but I'd love to try. It may take some time, but I know I can figure it out." Words shape beliefs, and beliefs shape actions. Every skill you have today, reading, driving, cooking, was once something you couldn't do. But you learned, you adapted, and you grew. That resilience doesn't disappear with age. The moment you stop saying "I can't" and start saying "I'll find a way," you open doors to confidence, independence, and personal growth. You are capable of more than you realize, and the only thing standing in your way is the belief that you can't. So challenge it. Replace "can't" with "I will try," and watch how your world begins to change. 5. Should. The word "should" carries a weight of guilt and obligation, often slipping into our thoughts and conversations without us even realizing it. I should exercise more. I should visit my children more often. I should have saved more money when I was younger. Each time we say it, we're subtly criticizing ourselves, reinforcing the idea that we're not doing enough, not being enough, not living up to some invisible standard. Over time, this creates a constant feeling of falling short, as if no matter what we do, it's never quite enough. For many women, this habit of shoulding ourselves started decades ago while juggling the roles of mother, partner, and career woman. We took on responsibility for everyone else's needs, often placing our own at the bottom of the list. But now, in this stage of life, it's time to shift that mindset. Instead of burdening ourselves with should, let's replace it with I choose to or I want to. This simple change reframes our actions from obligation to empowerment. Instead of saying I should exercise more, say I want to move my body because it makes me feel strong and energized. Instead of I should visit my children, say I choose to visit my children because I love spending time with them. Notice the difference? One feels like a demand, the other like a decision made from a place of freedom and joy. And then there are the should-haves, the regrets and what-ifs of the past. I should have saved more. I should have pursued a different career. These thoughts serve no purpose but to drain our energy and keep us stuck in regret. The past is done, but your future is still yours to shape. Instead of I should have, shift your focus to I can. I can be more mindful about my finances now. I can explore new passions today. By eliminating should, you'll feel a weight lift off your shoulders. You'll replace pressure with possibility, guilt with motivation, and self-judgment with self-compassion. Life at this stage is about choices, not obligations. You are free to create the life you want, not because you should, but because you choose to. 6. Ugly. Few words carry as much unnecessary weight as ugly. And too often, women don't just use it to describe things, they use it against themselves. My hair looks so ugly today. These wrinkles make me look ugly. I hate how my body looks. It's just ugly. Stop right there. Every time you call yourself ugly, even casually, you reinforce a damaging belief that your worth is tied to your appearance. You are not just criticizing what you see in the mirror, you are internalizing the idea that you are somehow less valuable, less deserving, simply because you don't look the way you once did. Aging is not ugly. It is a testament to a life well lived. Every wrinkle holds a memory. Every silver strand of hair reflects wisdom and resilience, and every scar or stretch mark tells a story of survival and strength. These are not flaws. They are proof that you have loved, laughed, overcome challenges, and experienced the fullness of life. Yet, so many women stand before the mirror and focus on what they see as imperfections rather than the incredible woman staring back at them. It's time to change that. Instead of ugly, choose words that honor your beauty. Natural, authentic, unique, and radiant all capture the essence of who you truly are. Every morning, look in the mirror and find one thing to appreciate about yourself. Maybe it's the warmth in your eyes, the kindness in your smile, or the strength in your hands that have held children, created, built, and comforted. By shifting your focus, you begin to reframe how you see yourself and how others see you too. And it's not just about self-talk. As women, we can also be our harshest critics, not just of ourselves, but of others. Pay attention to how you describe people around you. Challenge yourself to replace judgment with kindness, both toward yourself and the women in your life. Choose to see beauty where you once saw flaws. Words have power. They shape how we think and feel about ourselves and how the world perceives us. Choose words that build you up rather than tear you down. Aging is not something to fear or to fight. It is a privilege, a gift. You are not ugly. You are as radiant as the wisdom you carry. 7. Lonely. Loneliness is more than just a passing emotion. It's a word that carries immense weight and, when repeated, can shape how you see yourself and your place in the world. Saying, "I feel lonely," isn't just describing a temporary state. It's reinforcing a mindset that can deepen feelings of isolation and despair. The danger of labeling yourself as lonely is that it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you tell yourself you are lonely, the more you believe it, and the more you unintentionally withdraw from the very connections that could bring warmth and companionship back into your life. But here's something important to remember. Feeling lonely does not mean you are alone. Often, it's not a lack of people around you that creates loneliness, but a sense of disconnection, a belief that no one understands or truly values your presence. This couldn't be further from the truth. Your experiences, your wisdom, your laughter, they all have the power to uplift and inspire others. The world still needs you, and there are people who would love to share in your company if only you let them in. Instead of saying, "I'm lonely," try shifting your perspective. Say, "I am seeking connection," or "I am open to new experiences." These small changes in language can shift your mindset from resignation to possibility. Join a community group, take a class, volunteer, or reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in a while. Younger generations in particular often crave the guidance and stories of those who have lived through decades of change. You may be surprised by how much they appreciate and value your presence. Loneliness is not a life sentence. It is a feeling, not a permanent state. By adjusting your outlook and taking even small steps toward connection, you can transform solitude into companionship, quiet moments into meaningful conversations, and nostalgia into fresh, joyful experiences. Most importantly, remind yourself every single day that you are seen, valued, and needed. The moment you stop calling yourself lonely and start embracing the possibility of connection, your world will open up in ways you never expected. 8.2. This tiny word may seem harmless, but it has an incredible way of holding you back. Too old, too tired, too late. How often do you catch yourself saying these words without even realizing the power they hold? I'm too old for that. I'm too tired to try. It's too late to learn something new. Each time you say it, you're placing an unnecessary limit on yourself, reinforcing the belief that certain things are out of reach simply because of your age. But here's the truth. As long as you're alive, it's not too late for anything. Life doesn't have an expiration date on learning, joy, or new experiences. Your timeline is your own, and the opportunities you have are still abundant. The problem with too is that it creates barriers where none need to exist. It convinces you that you've missed your chance when in reality, you still have so much time to explore, grow, and embrace what makes you happy. Instead of saying, "I'm too old to exercise," try reframing it as, "My body is changing, so I'll find exercises that work for me." If you find yourself thinking, "It's too late to make new friends," shift your mindset to, "I'm open to connecting with people who share my interests." Small changes in the way you speak to yourself can shift your entire outlook on life. Your abilities haven't disappeared, they've evolved. Maybe things take a little more time, or you need a different approach, but that doesn't mean you should stop trying. Too is a word of limitation, but when you replace it with curiosity and possibility, you remove those invisible barriers and step into a world where new experiences, friendships, and joys are always waiting. You are never too anything to live fully. 9. Can't complain. How often do we say, "I can't complain," almost automatically? On the surface, it seems like a simple, polite response, one that signals you're not someone who dwells on negativity. But take a closer look, and you'll see that this phrase does more than just keep conversations light. It can actually shut down real connection and even dismiss your own experiences. How many times have you said, "I can't complain," when, in reality, you were struggling? Maybe you didn't want to seem ungrateful, or you felt like your problems weren't big enough to share. But when you repeatedly say this, you minimize your feelings and deny others the chance to support you. Over time, it can become a habit of hiding your emotions rather than acknowledging them. Instead of defaulting to this phrase, try being honest about how you feel. You don't have to overshare or turn every conversation into a venting session, but you also don't need to bottle things up. If someone asks how you're doing, try saying, "I'm doing well, but I've had some challenges lately." Or, "Things are okay, but I could use a little extra support." These responses invite deeper conversations and allow you to express your reality without feeling like you're complaining. Another thing to consider is how this phrase can limit your ability to express joy. Sometimes we downplay our own happiness out of fear of seeming boastful. Instead of saying, "I can't complain," try, "I'm truly grateful for how things are going," or "I feel really fortunate right now." You deserve to celebrate the good moments in your life without hesitation. So, let's retire "I can't complain." Speak openly, share authentically, and let yourself be truly heard. Life is filled with both joys and struggles, and you are allowed to experience and express every part of it. 10. I used to be. We've all said it at some point. I used to be. It slips into conversations with a quiet sigh, often carrying a tinge of regret or longing for the past. I used to be more active. I used to have so much energy. I used to be the one everyone counted on. The problem with this phrase isn't just that it recalls a different version of yourself, but that it subtly suggests that who you are now is somehow less than who you were then. It places your past self on a pedestal while overlooking the strength, wisdom, and resilience of the person you've become. Aging is not about clinging to who you used to be. It's about embracing who you are today. The experiences that shaped you, the lessons you've learned, and the wisdom you carry now are worth just as much, if not more, than the energy and abilities you may have had in the past. Instead of focusing on what you used to do, shift the perspective to what you can do now. Instead of, "I used to be fit," say, "I move my body in ways that support my health today." Instead of, "I used to have endless energy," say, "I invest my energy where it truly matters." Rather than, "I used to be so patient," say, "I've learned to prioritize what's important to me." These small but powerful shifts in language help you see your present self with appreciation rather than comparison. Every stage of life brings its own blessings and lessons. Who you are today is not a faded version of who you once were. You are a richer, deeper, more evolved version of yourself. There is power in accepting that and standing fully in the present without longing for a past that no longer fits. You have earned the right to celebrate yourself as you are, without measuring yourself against who you used to be. Let go of the idea that your best years are behind you. The truth is, your best years are the ones you choose to embrace right now. 11th, it's always been. How many times have you told yourself, "It's always been this way," as a reason to keep things exactly as they are? "I've always taken care of my health this way. This is how I've always handled problems. Our family has always done things this way." It's a phrase that carries an undertone of resignation, as if change is either impossible or unnecessary. But here's the truth. Just because something has always been a certain way, doesn't mean it has to stay that way. Life is constantly evolving, and even after 70, you are still growing. Holding on to the belief that things can't or shouldn't change might be keeping you from opportunities, new friendships, and experiences that could bring more joy into your life. What if instead of staying in familiar routines, you allowed yourself to explore what else is possible? If you've always managed challenges alone, consider letting others help. People who care about you want to support you, but they need the chance to step in. If your approach to health has always been reactive, shift to a proactive mindset. Perhaps it's time to try yoga, improve your nutrition, or get a second opinion from a doctor with a fresh perspective. If family dynamics have always been strained, take the bold step of initiating a new kind of conversation, one built on understanding and change. Breaking free from the "it's always been" mindset allows you to embrace growth and adaptability. Imagine the doors that open when you shift from feeling stuck to wondering what's next. Whether it's picking up a new skill, deepening relationships, or rethinking an old habit, every step forward brings more meaning and fulfillment. Your best years don't have to be in the past. They can start now, with a willingness to challenge the status quo, embrace curiosity, and welcome change. You have nothing to lose and so much to gain. 12. I'm fine. How many times has someone asked how you're doing, and without even thinking, you replied, "I'm fine," even when you weren't? It's a reflex, a habit we've built over the years to avoid deeper conversations, to keep things simple, or to avoid burdening others. But the truth is, saying "I'm fine" too often can create distance between you and the people who truly care. It keeps you from acknowledging your own emotions and prevents others from offering the support you might actually need. Let's be honest, sometimes life isn't fine. Maybe you're navigating health challenges, loneliness, grief, or simply feeling overwhelmed. Instead of brushing it aside, try opening up just a little. The next time someone asks how you are, say, "I'm doing okay, but I've had better days." Or, "I'm managing, but there's been a lot on my mind." Even, "I could really use a listening ear today." These responses invite connection, allowing those who care about you to show up in ways that can bring real comfort and relief. At the same time, don't let "I'm fine" be your response when things are actually going well. If you're happy, share it. Say, "I'm great, thank you," or "Today's been wonderful, and I feel good." Positivity is just as contagious as negativity, and when you express joy, you invite others to share in it with you. The words you use shape your experience. Stop saying "I'm fine" by default. Instead, allow yourself to be honest, whether that means asking for support or celebrating the good. Real connection, understanding, and joy begin when you speak your truth. Ladies, we've made it through 12 words that have been sneaking into our vocabulary for far too long, limiting us, holding us back, and making us second-guess our worth. But here's the good news. Now that you know them, you can kick them to the curb. Imagine the freedom of speaking with confidence, removing unnecessary apologies, and replacing doubt with possibility. You're not too old, too tired, or too late. You're just getting started. So tell me, which of these words have you caught yourself saying? And more importantly, which one are you going to ditch first? Drop a comment below, and let's talk about it. And remember, the way we speak shapes the way we live. So let's make our words as bold, beautiful, and fearless as we are. If this video gave you something to think about, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs this reminder. Because we're all in this together, and every woman over 70 deserves to own her voice and her power. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.